Looking okay in this video. Talk a little bit about women and men both, okay? The people out there, and you know who you are, that don't want a relationship with anybody. What they want to do is bounce from married person to married person. That's right. And this applies to women and men in both because both genders are doing this, okay? And that's no lie. You know what I call them? I call them the outsiders. I call them the homewreckers. That's right, because that's really what they are. For their own selfish gain, okay? That's all it's about. So what we're talking about here is men and women alike, who in today's world, the only thing they want to do is get into somebody's pants, but somebody's pants they want into is to somebody that's already married, is already taken, okay? And why do they do this? Well, there's a whole shitload of women and a whole shitload of men doing this very same thing right here that we're talking about. Why do they do it? Well, because they get a sadistic high out of it. Makes them feel big. Makes them feel better. Yeah. Better than the person. An example would be she gets into the husband's pants that's not her husband, of course. Now she feels big, good inside. The challenge of doing this, not getting caught, and that she's better than the woman of the husband. Why? Because she got into this gal's husband's pants. So now because she got into that gal's husband's pants, she feels she's better than her. That's right, she's better than her. She's above her now. Yeah. And it's the same thing for the guys. They get the same sadistic rush, the thrill of doing it, knowing they could get caught. Okay? Same thing as the women. And they get that adrenaline rush that makes them feel good. Yep. Makes them feel like really, really, really good inside because they think they're better than the guy now. That's right. See, these people think that they're better than somebody else because they got into somebody else's partner's pants. That's why I call them the homewreckers, okay? The parasites upon our planet, okay? The people who have no feelings towards anybody but themselves, okay? Who don't give a fuck whose life they destroy, but they don't want their life destroyed, right? That's right. They wouldn't want it happening to them, that's right. Because, see, most of these people, women and men that do this, they don't hook up with somebody or get into a relationship, okay? No, they don't get into the relationships. Maybe later in life they'll get into a relationship, but they're not ready to get into a relationship at this time because their idea of a relationship is to be with the married man or to be with the married woman. That's right. For what I just talked about, okay? And when they're done, of course, they go on to the next and on to the next. And they don't stop to look behind them to see what damage they've done to the family. I want you to think about this. The husband and wife who has kids, okay? The kids love mom and dad. Mom and dad love each other. And now real love, if they knew what real love was, you parasites here who are trying to get into the married person's pants for your sadistic pleasure, if people knew what real love was, you people that were trying to get into their pants would never get into their pants. And your sadistic pleasure would never happen, okay? Because you wouldn't get into their pants. But, unfortunately, the majority of people in today's society don't know what love is. Okay, they get together for all the wrong reasons to begin with, okay? And, of course, that don't work out because what was they get together for? They got together for the wrong reasons, so, of course, the relationship didn't work out because they never loved each other to begin with. Or one loved the other one and the other one lied, as in the woman lied to the guy and she never loved him, or as in the guy lied to the woman and he never loved her. Because, see, it's not a one-sided thing. It never has been and won't be. But we have a society that likes to paint one gender out to be above the other and that they're innocent and they would never do this when they're doing just as much of this as the men are, okay? But they don't want to be seen as in that fashion because they know they're wrong for doing what they're doing. But they don't care. As long as they can look good in another person's eyes, that's all they care about. Whether it's truth or not, as long as they look good. Isn't that right? You know, ABC did a report on trolls, and what the guy said there in that video was very correct to this situation right here. It fits this situation just as well. Because, see, the people who do this, they do get a sadistic power trip off on it. That's right. They know they're wrong, but they get the sadistic high. It's a power trip. And, of course, then the challenge of doing it and not getting caught. And not giving a fuck about children or the person's spouse, partner that's not there, that don't know their husband or their wife is cheating on them with this piece of parasite, okay? Now, of course, the husband or the wife, the one doing the cheating, and I will not say either or because I'm not going to be one-sided because both genders are doing this. I'm not going to excuse women saying they're not because they know fucking damn well they are, okay? And I'm not going to excuse men because we know that both genders are doing this. But they don't care what they leave behind, you know? And the sad thing is the husband who cheats on his wife because the gal come along and she wants the married man because she has no intentions in staying with him. She has no intentions in staying with him. I mean, she might lie and say all the right things to get into his pants. Of course she will. She'll lie her ass off and say everything that guy wants to hear just to get into his pants so that she can feel that rush and so that she can feel bigger and better than that guy's wife. And it's the same thing with the guy. He'll say everything she wants to hear. The problem is social conditioning has allowed these people to fall for this crap because they didn't know what love was to begin with. Because, see, real love, when somebody hits on you like this, what needs to happen, what most of you morons won't do, is you're not just saying no to them, but when they continue to keep hitting on you after you said no, because you know they're going to, because they're determined, they're getting into your pants, whether it's he or she, okay? So what needs to happen is if the girl wants into this guy's pants and she's flirting on him, okay, and she knows he's married, and she continues to flirt on him, and continues to flirt on him, and continues to flirt on him to get into his pants, he needs to make sure that his wife is aware that this girl's flirting the fuck out of him to get into his pants. And then introduce his wife to this girl. That'll end it right there. She'll be gone. She won't fucking try it no more, okay? And it's the same thing the other way around. So when the guy's hitting on the girl, and he knows that she's married, and she said no, and he continues to hit on her and hit on her, then what she needs to do is get her husband and introduce the husband to the guy. This will put a stop to it. I'm not saying for the guy to beat the fuck out of the guy, and I'm not saying for the girl to beat the fuck out of the girl. You don't have to go to violence for this person to leave you alone. Because the mere fact that you had the audacity to introduce your partner to them and tell on them to your partner right in front of them will be enough to run them off, okay? They won't come back. But do you think people are going to honestly do this? No, they're not, because they don't know what love is. That's right, they haven't their first clue what love is. But these people like this are responsible for destroying thousands and thousands of relationships. They're responsible for passing sexually transmitted diseases on because they're popping from one hoe to another hoe or from one dick to another dick, okay? And, of course, they pick up an extra package of surprise along the way, don't they? And 90% of the time, they won't tell the person that they're now fucking that they have this problem because they don't want to be turned down. They don't want to be rejected. So they're going to keep it to themselves. And you're going to do it. And then you're going to get it, too. Now, you got the nice surprise. Maybe it was claps. Maybe it was herpes. Maybe it'll even be AIDS. And you can now count your numbers of how many years you got left to live because you're an idiot. The real sad thing is, of course, the children, because the children are no thought in no way at this at all. It's their fucked up parents that are doing this, okay? And not both parents in the majority of cases, okay? One parent. And it's not always the man, so I don't want to hear it. Because I'll tell you what, it's as many women as there is men doing this very same thing, okay? Not giving a fuck about their partner's feelings, emotions, or anything about it, because it's not about that. It's about their own selfish wants. That's right. So what about their partner? So what if I tore his heart out of his chest? So what if I tore her heart out of her chest? Because it's all about your own selfish want, isn't that right? So what if the kids lost daddy? Or so what if the kids lost mommy? So what if mommy lives on the other side of town with fucking some other stranger, or daddy lives on the other side of town with some stranger because the kids are long and lost their parent because of what? Because of some parasite who thinks that love is sex and wants to play the game, and at the same token gets their sadistic high, their challenge, out of getting into a married person's pants. The homewreckers, okay? And in a lot of cases, you'll find out that the homewrecker is actually the one that, well, when the jealous husband went in and killed him and her, that's right. And now he's dead because he was a parasite. And she's dead because she didn't love him to begin with, or she would have never been there. Or the other way around. She shoots them both. That's right. And now he's dead and she's dead because of what? The same thing. Okay? So then it happened again, right? Of course it did.